Hi, I'm Ken Poletski with Community Real Estate Group Keller Williams here in Southeast Washington State, and it is time for your monthly market update. I do this once a month where I go deep into the numbers of real estate in the Tri-Cities market, and that's areas that are our outskirts areas of Tri-Cities: Kennewick, Richland, Pasco, West Richland, Benton City, Prosser, even Grandview. If you can see the graph, there's a light pink and then a dark red. That is 2024. The light green and the dark green is 2023. I like to show a comparison to see where we've gone year over year in each individual month, right? And you can see that just by the active listings alone, in 2024, we've had a lot more inventory, which is great. I mean, it's been great for our buyers, very competitive for our sellers to be out there working in a market like this. But it's also kind of kept the prices in check, to be honest with you. We saw 2020, 2021 where they're just going through the roof and crazy, and now everything's kind of relatively being priced pretty competitively. If the interest rates were to cooperate today, I think this inventory would be gobbled up, even though you can see here at current month of the beginning of August, we are at 1,057 active properties. And like I said, this is new construction homes. This is homes built on the river with $1 million views. This is manufactured homes in a rented lease park situation. Condos and townhouses are also in here. It's basically anything anyone could live in and be called a residential. So 1,056 active properties on the market. There's 348 new construction homes on the market. These are homes that are a piece of paper on a paper lot, which is basically out of a plan book, right? And you say, I want to build this house on that lot. That could be, and if it's in the MLS, that's great. There's a lot of inventory that's not in the MLS. It's the same thing. It's also any house being built on speculation. They call them specs, right? Where a builder builds on speculation of finding or attracting the right buyer. And that is a spec product. And then there's newly completed houses. These are homes that are just finished. They've been on the market maybe a little bit. And there's 348 of those, so there's still some time to get some brand new homes. And we see right now in the Tri-Cities a lot of inventory that's going to be coming online that are subdivisions that are in the works, right? So that's a good thing. That's one of the things I love about Tri-Cities, and that's why I moved up here in 2007, is because it looked like it was pro-growth and ready to keep growing. Let's talk about pricing for those active properties right now. And you can see that the new construction in the light green that has trickled down over from the beginning of the year last year all the way till now has kind of maybe plateaued a little bit, which has been nice to see for these home builders. They did have to make a pivot, not so much in pricing, but had to get some strategic with what they did provide in features or what size of the homes that they were building. But looking at the prices in general for the entirety of the market, out of the 1,056 homes, the average price is $571,000, and the average price of the new construction is $550,000, and that is in the month of August as the active inventory stands. Now, when we look at last month's numbers, they were 585 and 614, right? When we look at last month's numbers in July, they were $556 and $561,000. They were a little bit closer, right? But this is the interesting part about every month being a little bit different. New homes come on the market, sellers try to press the market and the prices go up a little bit, and that's kind of what we're probably seeing now. And it's kind of rare because we're still in 1,056 where they're competing, right? We would still consider this a seller's market because the inventory hasn't quite caught up to a 6-month supply yet if we were to not add any more inventory to the market. The days on market, what we're looking at for the new construction is 114 days on market. That's kind of skewed a lot because a lot of times that's a piece of paper with a lot picked and a plan changes and stays on the market a little bit longer. And it could be coming off the market and then do a little churning. But the days on market for the resale stuff is 77 days, and you can see that that's dropped a little bit. Where in the beginning of the year we were a little bit longer on market. It just shows that the activity on the market's increased, probably because of the interest rate that's dropped here recently. We're seeing more and more of that, and consumer confidence is going up as we get nearer to the elections, and they're just kind of used to the way of life. I mean, the price of groceries and things these days is insane. We're hoping to see a release in the market where the rates come down a little bit. Let's talk about pended properties. Currently, there are 544 pended properties on the market. These are homes under contract. They're going through their inspection period, the appraisal period, and getting everything in line to close, right? And that's 544 of those. And then there's 183 new construction pended, right? And that's up from last year at this time for both counts. Not much in the total market, but if you look at the light pink number over the year, it's actually been higher month over month compared to 2023. So what's that telling us? That we are seeing more and more activity, and we're probably projected to close more homes this year than we did last year, which is great, right? I've been doing this 29 years. I chose it as a real estate career. I love helping my buyers, my sellers, my investors, builders, developers, and keeping them apprised of what's going on in the market is a vital value that I provide, right? I give them these reports on a regular basis just to tell them what's going on and give them a perspective of maybe what kind of considerations they need to be making to hit their goals or their dreams for those home buyers and home sellers, and then how to maybe pivot and what kind of developments to do, what kind of houses to be building for the new construction world. So when we're looking at the pricing for pendeds, you know, we don't get to see what they're selling for yet. We just see the active prices, and then we look at which ones are selling or going under contract, and you could see it's significantly less. I mean, quite a bit less when we had an average price of active properties of 571, and then we have an average price of pended properties being at the 500 or 470. That's a big difference, right? That sweet spot has been in that mid-4 range all year long. If you look at those numbers across every month in the light pink and the dark red, that's been in that 450, 455, 460 range. We started to see a climb, and I noted this in a couple of episodes ago where we started to see a trend that we were starting to increase by 2 to 3%. And we're still watching that closely, and you can see we're just looking at last year at this time, you know, the average price being 490, and then last year it being 461. That's proof. That's proof, people. The market got to its lowest spot. Buyers beware. If the rates drop, the inventory is going to drop, the prices are going to go up. We're already seeing them go up, even though we are in a market where the rates are still pretty high, right? So keep in mind that it's a good time to buy. If you were coming to us for a consulting and advising consultation meeting, we would be instructing you by showing you numbers and showing you stats on your specific market, because everyone's got a little bit different perspective of what their needs are and what their wants are, right? So this is the greater market, and it's the entire Tri-Cities market here in the southeast area of Washington State. The days on market for pended are also lower than the actives because they're going under contract. The actives are still fishing for buyers. The pendants are on the hook, right? They're trying to get the goal and cross the finish line of closing on their new home. The averages are in the 38 and the 35 day range. And keep in mind the new construction, sometimes they go pending right now as paper, and sometimes they go pending as a newly completed home. You just never know. So it's something that one of our professional agents at Community Real Estate Group would be able to show you and give you some stats and numbers on that. So let's look at that sold property data. And the sold property data, if you look at the arcing pattern of real estate, is because, you know, there are certain times of the year where it just slows down. It's natural, right? I mean, it could be the weather. It could be the time of year where school starts and people just don't want to move in the winter. It could be seasonal stuff. Tri-Cities is kind of like that, and it's been an arcing pattern as far back as I can track numbers. And but one of the interesting things is in the light pink is that light blue color, is you can see the difference years over year. This last month, the month of July, the pendants were quite a bit more. You know, 405 versus 386 last year. And if you look at all the other months preceding to this, from January till now, it looks like we are definitely closing more houses than we did last year at this time. And if we're closing more homes, that means that there's more buyers out there, even though the rates are high. So buyers don't just sit back and wait for rates. If you can afford to get in, I would get in. I've done this for 29 years, like I said, and it just is always one of those things. Now let's look at the new construction, way higher than last year at this time, 109 compared to 65. And this is again trending. If you go back every month to the beginning of the year, the new construction have closed more homes this year than we did last year in 2023. So it's a good thing to be watching. We are expecting to close more homes. if you're a buyer out there waiting, I would suggest that you get into an agent right away, talk to them about what's going to happen, because if we do see a significant rate drop, even 1% would be huge to get more people into the market, and that's going to be something that's happening. Let's look at those average prices for sold properties. You know, 465, and this is for the new construction home compared to last year at 514. And you can see last year all the dark blue lines dropped from 2022, which was even higher, and kept coming down all the way through 2023. And then it continued on for the first few months of 24. And then I think we kind of might have hit a plateau there. The last several months have been pretty close in that 465 range, looking at that number. And then of course the resale market is in that 450 range. Pretty close, except for the pendants were a little bit higher. If you remember back a couple slides, the pendants actually were a higher amount on average, but this 450 has kind of been a trend line for most of the year. When you're looking at July at 450, and then you look at June at 447, and then you look at May at 457, you know, April dropped to 438, but then you had a 457. So, you know, right in that middle $400,000 range has been the sweet spot for the year. For closed properties. It doesn't mean we don't sell the high-end ones too, because we do, and it doesn't mean we don't sell that very, very low-end one, because we do that as well. We handle a variety of the first-time home buyer all the way to the retiree when we're looking at helping buyers and getting them into these homes to sell, and we love helping our sellers move on to their next chapters in life too. So if you have questions about your real estate market, which is specific to your neighborhood, your type of house, your price point, please reach out to one of our agents. We would be happy to have a consultation with you, tell you about what's going on in your real estate market. Now, those days on market that you saw under the actives was high, you know, the 78-day range, and then the pended range was the 38-day range. Now let's look at the closed data, right? The closed data says that it's in the 44-day range for the resale market, and then of course the 71-day for the new construction market. And so those are numbers that we started watching this year and watching very closely. But let's wrap it up and we'll give you the total count. The total number of homes sold this year is 2,327 homes. New construction 606. Looking at last year, it looks like we are on pace to beat those numbers, especially in the new construction world. There were 790 and we're at 606 already. And of course, we're really closing the gap on that total resale market as well. But looking back historically, if you look right after a recession, which we saw start to happen in 2022, and you compare that to 2007 or 2008, what starts to happen? It starts to climb out, doesn't it? Look at the numbers. The proof is in the pudding, if you will. So if we can help you any way to make your real estate decisions easier or planned, then that's what we would love to do for you. Just reach out to us, comment below. We hope you subscribe to the channel. We hope you're sharing this amongst your friends and colleagues. And if there's anything we can do to help you in your real estate needs, reach out to one of us on the Community Real Estate Group Keller Williams team.